I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I believe that a good coach is going to drastically accelerate your path in life. And tonight I want to drastically accelerate your path on showing you how to land six-figure contracts without being a coach for 10 years. Okay, I've got Eric White, who's on my sales team with me. He's going to be on with you all night. Take any questions that you ask. You want to text him, he'll put his text number in there for you. You got questions about anything, you can put them in the chat box. I'm going to give you the next hour of just giving you things I wish I would have known really at 31 years old when I first started coaching business people. But I do believe that it is valid that you can go out into the world and land six-figure contracts without coaching for 28 years like I have. Now, many of you know my story. I was a high school basketball coach. I actually started at 19 years old at the second largest high school in Tennessee. I'll talk a little bit about the methodology I was studying tonight because that's very important to the equation. Very important to the equation. You're not going to sign six-figure contracts unless you have something valuable to say. You're not going to sign six-figure contracts unless you have a methodology of movement, of getting people to a higher frequency. Okay, so from 18 to 25, I studied one person, and I'll get into that tonight because that was very critical to me having the substance to sign six-figure deals. Okay, I was on a sales pitch yesterday where they wanted me to purchase a $30,000 coaching program and then come back and buy a $130,000 program. Well, the only way I would invest, in essence, $160,000 in something, six figures, is if I thought that $160,000 could make me 1.6 million, right? That's the way people think. So tonight I'm going to show you how I landed my first three coaching contracts. My first coaching contract, big one, was $144,000. My second one was $150,000, and my third one was $120,000. And in my very first year of coaching people, these were the kinds of contracts I signed within the first 12 months of starting a coaching business. Now, you're going to find out tonight that I didn't just roll out of bed and start coaching people. I actually started coaching when I was 15. I was a head coach at 18. I was an assistant coach from 19 to 21. I became the youngest head coach in the state of Tennessee at 22. By 25, I started writing books, which is very important to the equation. You're going to see that tonight. If you don't have a message, you can't get in front of people. If you can't get in front of people, you can't sniff out the right people. If you can't get in front of the right people, you can't find people who have money, who will sign the contracts. It's not just about calling Dell Computers or State Farm Insurance and saying, hey, I'm a coach and I'm good. I'd like to come in there and sign a six-figure deal with you. It's not that easy, okay? It really has to do with you going out into the universe and sharing a message with the frequency and being in front of people who have the resources, the time, the money, and the interest. And you're going to find out tonight, maybe your issue is, I don't have a message. I can't get in front of people. When I do get in front of people, I don't know how to deliver in such a way that's impactful that they want a follow-up conversation. I'm missing a follow-up structure. I'm missing a closing structure. Maybe you don't have the confidence to close a six-figure deal. Maybe you don't think you're worth the six-figure deal. So I got to show you how I was able to do that and do it big within the first year. And now I've signed as much as a $450,000 contract. I signed a $350,000 contract, $250,000 contracts. We actually signed a contract yesterday that the total value is worth about $152,000. We're trying to parlay another one on top of that of $30,000. So one day done right could be a $200,000 day. Now imagine doing $200,000 a day every day, 5 days a week, right? Doing $1 million a week, doing $4 million a month, doing $48 million a year. That is where you want to get to, but it's never going to happen until you understand this. So I want to start off tonight by asking some questions, right? Have you ever thought that companies could value your expertise, right? Have you ever had a thought that something in your life, something in your past, whether it be a success or failure, that either there are people who would be willing to pay you six figures? For example, Paul Tudor Jones has paid Tony Robbins $1 million a year for the last 25 to 30 years, I think, to be his coach. right? There will come a day soon. I was just talking to Eric about this today. I was talking to my president about today. There will come a day soon that I will not coach anybody personally unless they pay $100,000 or more. Okay. Now that's not how I started, but that day is not far away for me to say, look, you will get my coaches that have been trained by me. You will get this, but you're not going to get me personally unless it's six figures. And that's just all there is to it, man. So there could be people who will pay you that much money. Okay. The funny thing is they asked Paul Tudor Jones, like, how many times do you talk to Tony Robbins for that $1 million? And his answer is priceless. Like, it's one of the best answers in the world. He said, I talk to Tony maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I just want to know that he'll answer the phone when I call him. So you pay a guy $1 million a year, you say, hey man, if I got a problem, I'm going to call you. But if I don't need you, I'm not going to call you. When we do talk, maybe you give me a nugget. He has to believe that for the $1 million, he's going to make 10 million off that investment. That's the belief. That's what you got to sell people on, through relationship with you, right? As I'm looking at the people who are on here tonight, what I'm looking at is when you're thinking about it, when you're thinking about this concept, I got to believe that if I'm talking to Amanda Banks or Brandon Stevens or Chris Gooden or Elva Rodriguez or Greg Hurst, I got to believe, right, that if I'm talking to Handy or Jack or James or Jeff Pierce or John Burt, I got to believe, guys, that through a relationship with you, it's going to multiply. There's a difference between cost and work. So number one, do you believe that companies or people, that just have to be companies. Most of my 6-figure deals have been with people, but at one time I was signing up people at the $100,000 level for coaching, right? And that had to do with bundled packages and access to me and retreats. So have you ever thought that companies would value your expertise enough to pay you 6 figures? Number two, do you have a methodology that could help a company or a corporation solve a major problem? This is very important. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people will pay to solve that problem. Okay. And we call that the difference between bluegills and blue marlins. Blue marlins are big, juicy problems where people will pay you a lot of money to solve that problem. Bluegills are small, little bitty problems where people will exchange small amounts of money for you. Okay. So number one, have you ever thought that companies or individuals could be a value of your past? I'm paying you for your past. Your past helps me build my future. That's the way you need to think about it. All right. Number two, do you have a methodology? This is where learning from 18 to 25, learning under Dr. Stephen Covey, the methodology was so valuable. There's not a day that goes by that I don't use the methodology I learned from 18 to 25, and I'm 43 years old. Every day I'm using the whole person theory. Every day I'm using the 7 habits. Okay. Every day I'm using something in my coaching. Okay. So do you have a methodology? And if you don't, you're going to have a hard time signing 6-figure contracts. And if you do sign a 6-figure contract, they're going to figure out you're not very good. You don't really have, if you only got a message, like a lot of speakers have one talk, right? And that's it. They give that one talk to 200 different audiences and they make a good living. But if you put them in a company and you said, hey, I need you to coach all these people, the executive management team, the C-suite team, the managers, the salespeople, the operations people, that speaker would last about 1 day. They're not real coaches. They don't have a methodology. Okay. So you need a methodology to sign 6-figure deals. And here's the third question. Do you believe you have it in you to land some blue marlins? Okay. Now let me tell you the funny thing, guys. And this is so comical. When I first started coaching business people, I had transitioned from a high school basketball coach to a business coach. I had no idea what to charge, right? Like people would say, hey, I'd go speak. They would ask me to coach their team. They'd say, how much is it going to be, coach? And I go, well, let's see here. It's going to be $125,000. And a home builder looked at me and said, let's round it to 120 and get started. And I was like, what? Right? Like I was so young and dumb and naive. I didn't even know that was a lot of money to ask for. I just asked for it. Some people said yes and some people said no. Okay. The funny thing is 3 years into my coaching business, this was 10 years ago, I began believing that people wouldn't pay it. I began lowering my fees 3 years into coaching because my own little brain started contracting and started saying, well, they can't afford this. They would never pay that much money, right? When I was naive, I would ask for the money. Hey, it's $125,000. Someone went, okay, let's go. Let's get started. And so for you out there, you're probably wondering, like, how do I know? You don't know, man. You don't know until you ask. Sometimes I've asked for way more money and they said, man, I can't do it. I just can't do it, Ken Jocelyn. I just can't do it, man. We're way far apart, right? The contract I quoted yesterday was like $12,500 to $14,500 per month. It included X number of things. We're trying to consolidate those things so I can coach more people. But amortize out, that's a $150,000 deal. Okay. Now, so for you, when you're thinking about this, if you believe you have it in you to land some blue marlins, this is about confidence. This is about removing consideration, which is an internal thought that prohibits an external action. A lot of people have considerations, like they can't afford it. They can't pay it. What if we can't put a deal together? Why don't I lower my pricing? Okay. There are people. Today I was with a guy this morning looking at a real estate play, and he said, why don't we go up to my penthouse, coach? $3.4 million penthouse. And that he didn't even live there. That was just one of his houses. So he said, we ought to look at you for our coaching services. Maybe you can come in and help us, right? There's no way that guy couldn't afford 6 figures, or maybe even 7 figures. So when you think about this concept, I believe you have it in you. So who's this for tonight? This webinar is for anyone who believes they have a song to sing, people to sing it to, or you're looking for a methodology that other people would pay 6 figures for. Okay, so let's go back to this concept. All right, and I want to ask a question here, and I'd love your participation. Remember, one of my core selling philosophies is money changes hands when problems are solved. Okay, I would love for you to put in the chat box right now, what major problem do you believe you solve or could solve that a person or an organization would pay you 6 figures to solve? Okay, now I'm going to go through these big contracts. Like the first big contract I signed, $144,000. That was with a nursing home. They had 6 nursing homes, right? And they wanted me to come in and wake these people up. If you've ever been into a nursing home, it's a very tough place to work. It's a tough place to live. Morale is low. They get low skill level workers. Like they saw me as a thunderbolt to come in and light a fire in these people. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, by the way. No idea. One of my biggest contracts was a $450,000 contract in the prison system of Tennessee, rehabilitating offenders by coaching correctional officers. There again, no idea what I was getting myself into, but they paid me well for that. Now, here's the interesting thing, Tony Barnes. When I did that, when I'm selling today, and people say, well, I just don't know, coach, if you would understand my industry. You know what I say? I spent 4 years in the prison system, rehabilitating offenders. I've coached sawmill workers, daycare centers, doctors, right? Think about this. I've coached every group you can possibly imagine. Very few coaches can say they've gone into the prison system to rehabilitate offenders. Very few people. That is a huge selling point for me. So it was valuable, okay? My $120,000 contract was with the biggest home builders in the country. Okay, and I signed 2 of those. So let me see what we got in the chat box. Tony Barnes, discover, develop, and deliver their purpose. Okay, now Tony, I want you to think real serious about this. That's good, but who would pay you 6 figures for that? That's what we're talking about tonight. Okay. James Voss, I want full custody of my daughter and have never been married. Okay, who would pay you to learn how to do that? Timothy Phelps, overcoming fear and self-doubt, keeping a positive mindset. Jeff Pierce, helping them understand if their identity aligns with their actions. Okay, just type in here. Okay, now, so what I'm asking tonight, guys, is I'm asking you to think, are these concepts strong enough that someone would pay you 6 figures for these? Okay, it's a different deal to sell $97 program, $199, $299. Okay, our coaching packages right now go $299 a month to $833 a month to $2,000 a month to $33 a month. That's our individual coaching packages. So they go $3,500 10,000, 25,000, 40, 60, 100. Okay, I really want you thinking about this, because to land six-figure contracts, you got to solve a big problem. Okay, and I'm not saying that those are not solving problems that you're typing in, but you got to think deeper. Okay, who would solve that problem? Okay, so this webinar, you got to understand, you can solve big problems for big payouts, or you can solve small problems for small payouts. Now, in 08, I was coaching home builders. You know what was going on in the economy in 08? Recession. Home builders that were selling 1,000 homes a year, some 40 a week, were selling 4 a week. They went from selling 700 to 800 homes, right, to let's say 16 times 12, right, 150 homes. That's a huge drop off. They're worried about going bankrupt. They're worried about laying everybody off. They're worried about their personal net worth being tanked. The contract I signed this week was for a mortgage company. They've sent everybody home during this COVID period. The first month they had a huge spike. The second month they went down. Third month they went down, and they just keep going down. Now, what are they going to bring me in? Thunderbolt, energy, methodology, coach, development of their talent. So just remember, you can solve small problems for small payouts. We call those bluegills, or you could solve big problems for big payouts. We call those blue martins. So think of it like this. Think high margin with a few clients. So I'm a coach and I take on 5 people a year, man. That's it. But each person pays $250 to have me. I make $1 million a year. Okay, I guess it's more than $1 million. I make $1.2 million a year, and I coach 5 different companies. Okay, some of you, and I've always said this, I believe if I quit my coaching business tomorrow and I shut my coaching business down, I could go to a company that I've coached and said, I only want to coach one company. All I'm going to do is come in every day and coach your people. But it's going to be $1 million for me to do that. And I believe at least 5 of the companies I coach would do that. They would pay me $1 million a year to coach their people. Why? They know I can get 30, 40, 50 million out of their people. So you got to think of it like this, right? You got to think of it like I have a skill, and I am using this skill to solve a problem for somebody. And man, they got the time, they got the interest, and they got the money. They got the time, the interest, and the money, okay? So you can think high margin with few clients, niche, right? You can think low margin with many clients. It doesn't matter, right? If you got a business that sells to 10 million people and you sell them for $1, if you got 10 million people who will buy it at $1, okay? I'm working on a deal right now with an insurance company where I said, I will give you my coaching services. I'll put every one of you in a coaching program, okay? You got 500 agents for $588 one-time payment. Now, do the math on that. That's $250,000 deal. And it's a cash infusion at one time. Boom. You get $588 out of all 500 people. You make $250,000 like that. Then you put them into a structure where it's a group coaching program. So you're not adding more time. I don't have to coach any more people. I don't have to get on any more planes. I don't have to do any more accountability sessions. Like it's you know, as I'm saying it, that's what we do. That's what we should be doing all the time, right, E? It's so crazy. I'm coaching myself right now. Okay, now here's my point to you. See, that's a low margin deal with high volume. 500 people, $588. Make it so ridiculous they can't say no to it. Okay, but you got to be able to get in front of those people. So I want to encourage you. Stay the whole time tonight with me, man. I'm excited. I'm going to give you everything I got for the next 30, 40 minutes. Thank you for investing in yourself. At 18 years old, I invested in a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'd never read a self-help book. I'd never been to a self-help seminar. I grew up in a small town, raised by a single mother, right? Like I'm telling you, man, it was that book that changed my life, Justin Myers. At 25 years old, Covey put on a workshop for 5 days, 30 hours to learn those 7 habits. And I didn't have the money. I was a high school basketball coach making, I think, about $2,000 a month, maybe. The workshop was $2,500 for the week. I went to my mom. She gave me the money. I invested in myself, and those 7 habits changed my life. Now, you're saying, why is this important? You need a methodology. You're going to hear me talk about that tonight. If you are not being mentored by somebody who can teach you a methodology, a structure, in my opinion, you're never gonna understand how to get to this level Okay. You need to be mentored. You need to be coached. You need to invest in yourself. And what has happened because of that is it's put me in circles. Today I was working with literally the Donald Trump of Nashville, Tony Giarratani. He has built every major high rise in Nashville. Okay. And we're looking at a real estate play for my greatness factory in Nashville. And I'm telling you, just to be able to spend an hour with the dude, picking his brain, listening to him, casting a vision, visioneering together. The coaching business can give you a life like you can't imagine. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a boot camp with 50 people at my lodge. Sits on 23 acres, 8,000 square feet. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this industry, this coaching industry, if you hit it right, can give you a life that I never even imagined. Okay. So thank you for investing in yourself. Now I'm going to give you some secrets tonight. Okay. I'm going to give you some secrets. Secrets has taken me 15, 18, 20 years to learn. Anytime you got a question, you can ask the question. Okay. I can't say I can get to every question tonight, right? Brandon Stevens, if you have no idea where to start, what problem you could solve through your past, great question. Here's what I would tell you, Brandon. Think about in your past something that you've learned, picked up, gone through, struggled through, fought through. Like I wrote the book on confidence after I had a complete breakdown at 25 years old. I was clinically depressed. I was on antidepressants. My own mother's a nurse. She's like, I can't see you this way, man. You got to go to the doctor. I got on antidepressants for 6 months. Couldn't get out of bed. I threw up every morning. Lost every bit of my confidence. Here's what I learned though. When I fought my way out of that, Brandon, I became one of the foremost thought leaders in the world on confidence. I studied confidence like you can't imagine. I codified it. I put it into a book. I put it into training programs. Do you know that most of the executives, okay, Eric White can tell you this because he's in here with me, that I coach today at the 25K and above level want me to give them one thing, confidence. They don't want business tactic. They don't want strategy. I was coaching an executive today and he said, man, I got a guy in California that's lost every bit of his confidence, coach. What can I do to get it back? When I learned that, so Brandon, how did I learn that? I lost all my confidence. Then I came back and rebuilt all my confidence. Then I codified it. Remember this word tonight, codify. You're never going to write a book until you codify your methodology, till you write it down, get it out of your brain and put it into something people can absorb. Absorb means I can read it. I can watch it. I can listen to it. I can experience it. Okay. If you're going to do big deals, you got to be able to share with people. Look, man, I have a methodology. I had confidence. I lost my confidence. I rebuilt it. I can show you how to do it. So I hope that answers your question. It's a great question, Brandon. Okay. I'm paying you for your past. There you go. I survived suicide twice. Turned my life around. Okay. I'm not winning yet, but I haven't stopped trying. There you go, man. That one thing right there is huge. Think about all the people in their life who have contemplated suicide, all the people, right, who have been affected by suicide. Think about all the people, okay, that you could help with a message on that, okay? So you got the stuff. You just need to put it down on how you fought through. What did you do, okay? Now, let me get into some secrets. And like I said, stick around with me the whole time, guys. This is going to be good tonight. This may be the best webinar I've done in a long time. Because I really wish, John Burt, that people would have told me this, okay? 3 things you're going to need to sign 6-figure deals. Number 1, you're going to need a methodology. Now, I'm going to use the word codify here. I'm going to make a note in it on my page. A methodology is a method that you use to get some type of result, okay? And let me give you an example. When I was a high school basketball coach, it took me 10 years to figure out how to win a championship. Knockdowns, breakdowns, breakthroughs. Once I figured out how to win a championship, I went back and I wrote the book, The Anatomy of Winning. Okay, this book right here. I went back and I wrote this book with a championship coach called The Anatomy of Winning. Okay, and this book teaches coaches how to win a championship. If you've never, now let me ask you a question. How many coaches have never won a championship? See, I got the methodology. So here's the deal. When I was 18 years old, I studied Dr. Stephen Covey. Covey taught me the 7 habits and the whole person theory. Okay. Covey gave me a structure. At first, I didn't have a structure. So I think somebody just asked a question about that. What book should I read? Okay. Here's the concept. Covey had a structure. Okay. Handy. What books do you need to read to improve your sales game? Legacy Selling. You need to go to my website right now and get Legacy Selling. It's that book right there, which is my sales system. Then you need to get Person of Interest and Inside the Mind of a Monster. All of those are free right now at my website, by the way. All you pay is the shipping. Okay, you pay the shipping. I think it's $9.99. I'll tell you up front. We ship it to you. I'll sign it for you, and I'll even do a strategy session with you if you want to do a strategy session after you get it. Now, here's my point. 18 years old, I'm learning a methodology. Until you have a methodology, you can borrow from somebody else. Okay, give them credit. Don't run around the world telling people it's your methodology. Like every time I mention the whole person theory, I say I learned this from Dr. Stephen Covey. You can't run around the world and tell people that you wrote the book 10X or, you did this and you did that when it's not yours, man. You got to give credit where credit's due. So at 18 years old, I learned the whole person theory. People are made up of 4 parts: a body, a mind, a heart, and a spirit. Each of these parts produce 4 different needs, 4 different intelligences, 4 different capacities: knowledge, skill, desire, confidence. This thing changes my life. Now I got a methodology. I begin to use that a methodology with my players. Like I'm going to coach all 4 parts of their nature: physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? That theory was a methodology. Then I would teach every player that played for me the 7 habits of highly effective people. Now I got the 7 habits, right? Now I'm teaching the whole person theory and it's working. Now we start winning games. I'm seeing success. This becomes one of my staples of even to what I use today. This becomes something that I'm like, I'm going to use this every day. Like today, I use this theory, the whole person theory: body, mind, heart, and spirit. Okay. Here's what I told the guy who's lacking confidence. How does he feel about his body? Well, he could be in better shape. Okay. There's a direct correlation between how you feel about your body and your confidence. Go to work on his body first. Go to work on his skill. That's his mind. Go to work on his prey drive. That's his heart. All of those things will build his confidence. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you my methodology on confidence. I'm going to send you my ebook on swag. I'm going to get him in there, start watching my YouTube channel. Right? And in 5 minutes, boom, that dude was ready to go. Okay? So I got a methodology. I use it to this day. Now, when I landed this 6-figure contract that I did this week, it will use all 4 parts of that methodology. Meaning, when I go in to coach these people, the new contract includes this. So if you're taking notes, big contracts many times will include potentially you coaching everybody. I'll be coaching the C-suite. I'll be coaching the frontline managers. I'll be coaching the sales professionals. And I'll be coaching the operations team. Okay? Now, where can I take the whole person theory? Body, mind, heart, and spirit. To all of those people. I'll teach the C-suite how to recruit and attract, coach and develop, retain and optimize. I'll teach the managers how to be coaches. I'll teach the salespeople my legacy selling system, my monster growth system. I'll teach the operations people my monster growth, my monster operations program. Then I take all of that and put it into an online academy. All of that content is in there. Okay. In essence, what I will do is I will go in there and I will coach everybody. And that's how they will justify paying me $150,000. Here's what they'll do. They'll take some money out of operations. They'll take some money out of sales. They'll take some money out of executive leadership. And they'll say, look, we're going to give our whole budget of training. I've had companies tell me we're putting every bit of our money into you. We got $300,000 of dollars. We're going to pay you the $300,000. We're not bringing in any other coach except you. Now, how many sales coaches out there? I see Ken Jocelyn's on here. I was on his thing last night. How many sales coaches out there are not qualified to coach operations people because they've never coached them? How many sales coaches out there are not qualified to coach the executives? See, my first contract, that was $144,000, including me spending a full day with the owner of the company. That was valuable, man. Because I had to be prepared to work with that woman. I had to be prepared. When I coached the big home builders, I had to work with the CEO. Okay. This big contract I signed today started because the sales president said, I need you to work with 2 of my managers. That's it. Like, it started as a little bitty deal. Will you coach these 2 guys? Then I said, well, why would I just coach those 2 guys? Why wouldn't I coach all of your leaders, all of your managers? Okay, well, that's a good idea. Then he took it to the CEO. And the CEO said, well, if we're going to have him coaching the managers and the sales reps, why don't we have him coaching the operations people? We need him coaching everybody. What if you can't coach everybody? What if you don't have a skill set that can pivot like that? You see what I'm saying? So it's part business coaching, part life coaching, part psychology. There's a methodology to it. Okay. So that's why I got to get you to understand my first contract was coaching everybody. Hey, we'll pay you $120,000, but I need you to coach the superintendents, the construction workers. I need you to coach the sales team, my management team, my marketing people. Oh yeah. And by the way, coach, I need you to coach me, the owner. So I got to come up with some kind of methodology. It's like, okay, how do I do this? Okay. Now let me tell you an interesting part, and I'll take some questions here because I got 2 more secrets to give you. And hopefully I'm jarring some things open in your mind. When I signed about $144,000 contract with a builder in North Carolina, he used to have these long dinners, him and his wife. He was 60 something years old, and him and his wife owned the company, family owned company. And I would fly in and we would go to a nice steakhouse. And man, we would go for 3 or 4 hours, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was exhausting to me. But this dude's paying me a lot of money, and he wanted to have dinner with me every time. And I couldn't understand why. I'm like, man, you're worth 40 or 50 million dollars. Like what are we doing? And he stood up to his company once when I was in town, and he said, I had the most stimulating conversation I've had in 20 years last night at dinner with Coach Burt. He said, that dude makes me think. That dude gets me excited. That dude activates my drive. That's what he loved. He didn't mind paying me. Now, here's the deal. We went in there. I coached 20 people. One of them, Danny Thompson, did every single thing I told him to do. And he went from doing 0 deals to like 100 deals in a year. It's crazy. Danny Thompson, everything Coach Burt said, he did it. The owner, that owner of the company, stood up at the company meeting, the Christmas party, and it got in front of the whole company, who I've been coaching for a year. And he said, Danny Thompson, I want you to stand up, please. He said, I brought Coach Burt in for a year. We paid him 6 figures. 19 of you didn't do one thing Coach Burt told you to do. 19 out of the 20. He said, but Danny Thompson, you did everything Coach Burt said, and I made all my money back and more that I paid Coach Burt with one person. Now, here's what that taught me. When you go in to do big deals, you got to understand not everybody's going to get on board. I actually think 16% is going to get on board. So when you're selling it, it's very important. Don't miss this. Okay? E, you listen to this? This is good right here.
Yeah.
When you're selling it, you got to set proper expectations. Because if not, they'll say, well, everybody didn't get on board. We paid you $200,000 and not everybody did it. You got to say right up front, let me tell you the law of diffusion. When I come in and coach 100 people, roughly 16 of them are going to get on board. You're going to get an immediate bump out of those 16. They're ready. They're hungry. They're on fire. They're ready to play at a higher frequency. Okay. When they get coached, boom, they're going to get a bump. Then there's going to be 34% of people that get on board, but they need to see it a few times, which is why we got to do it every month, man. We got to do it every month. We can't do it every now and then. We got to have the right accountability structure in place. We got to give them things to do. We got to follow up with them. We got to get them in a rhythm. Now that's 50% of people, by the way. If I just got 50% of you people on board, how much more money would you make? You're going to make a lot more than $200,000 you can pay me. You may make $2 million more. If I get 16% of them on board, I bet I can make you another $400,000 or $500,000, and you're just going to give me 200 of it. Does that sound like a good deal? See, that's what I did in the new contract. I said, I'm going to tell you up front, guys, don't expect all these people to get on board. 16% are going to get on board immediately. That's the early adopters and innovators. 34% are going to get on board if they see it. Then there's going to be 34% that kind of get on board. They're the late majority. Then there's going to be 16% of bozos that ain't never going to get on board. I don't care if old Coach Burt moves in with them. Okay. Now that's the numbers. 28 years I've been studying this, man. I'm telling you, that's how it plays out. So you got to set it up front so they don't get their feathers all ruffled when not everybody gets on board. Okay. So I'm teaching a system. So number one, have you codified your methodology? Now let me stop here, take a few questions and ask about the methodology piece. Okay. Coach, do you think saleswomen should have a script? Yes, I do. I think if you're going to go in there and sell anything, I would tell you, we don't necessarily use a script. We use an explanation of services, which is a framework. We use strategies and overcoming objection. You're going to get objection. Let me tell you something. When I'm asking somebody for $200,000, don't just think they're just going to roll over and go, "Hey, let me pull out my card, give it to you right now, coach." They're going to get scared. They're going to wonder what's going on. They're going to say, "Man, is this going to work?" They're going to say, "I paid another coach and it didn't work." They're going to have all kinds of anxiety about giving you $200,000. When that dude asked me for $130,000 yesterday on that call, I was like, "Excuse me, 30 and then another 130? You got to sell me on cost versus worth, man. Coach, I know this seems like a lot of money, but the last 5 dudes I've done this with made $4 or $5 million more dollars. Now, I'd love to get you on the phone with them so you can talk to them, show you how it works. That 130,000 is a drop in the bucket compared to how much money you could make. That's what you got to sell. Okay. All right. Let me take a few questions. These are good. All right. From Tony Barnes, how do we take our message and develop a methodology around it? Here's a great question. Here's a great point, Tony. When I wrote the book, This Ain't No Practice Life, I had 7 decisions in that book. 7 decisions I think every person needs to make to do something big in their life. And then I had 7 ways you manifest the decision. Like I make a decision to wake up. That's decision 1, the awakening, right? Now, let me give you 7 ways to wake up. 1, 2, 3. Tony, that gives me 49 things to talk about. Now, let me tell you why that's important. When you're giving a presentation, you can say, "Look, I got 7 decisions in this book." Okay. I don't have time to talk about all 7. I'm going to talk about 2 or 3 of the top ones. Now, you're going to have to buy the book to get the other 4. But books never really changed a person's life. What you really need to do is get in my coaching program. I told a guy this today. He bought my books and he said, "Well, I want to read your books first before I commit to the coaching program." I said, "Man, there's a huge difference between reading my books and being coached by me." How much a difference? Maybe $1 million difference. What if you don't read the book? What if you read the first 3 pages? What if you're not on accountability calls with me every Monday? Right? Like the book don't change your life. Like reading the 7 Habits didn't change my life. It awakened my curiosity. What changed my life is going through the certification of 5 days, 30 something hours. That's what changed my life. Okay. So you got to sell. Look, I could come in here and motivate these people, right? I could come in here and motivate these people for a day. That's all sweet. I call it cotton candy. Okay. But it ain't going to change anybody's life. And you're certainly not going to make $10 million more because I come in here and talk. Okay. Brandon Stevens, I've been so caught up with trying to find my own, but you just nailed it. Borrow it. That's exactly right, man. You don't have to build your own recognition. You can become a certified coach for people. You can become a licensee. I have certified coaches that make money every month. We've got a real successful one in Memphis named Daniel Hodges, who uses my content. He teaches people in Memphis. He gets paid. I get paid. He don't have to create the PowerPoints. He don't have to come up with the message. I create the message and give it to him. So you don't have to say, "Man, I got to write a book. I got to come up with this." Do you need to write a book? Yeah. But from 18 to 25, I didn't have a book. I borrowed from Covey. Then at 25, I said, "Man, I need to write my own book." So I wrote a book. Then I wrote 2. Then I wrote 16. Now I've got a methodology that I use. Okay. So great questions, guys. If you have any more questions, type them in there. Jeff Pierce, let me tackle that one. How much proof of concept do you feel someone needs? Let me be honest with you, Jeff. The only thing I had when I signed those first couple of contracts was my winning in basketball. I didn't have business success. I hadn't made millions of dollars. I didn't have a methodology. I was selling them on a future. Okay. There's a book out there called Selling the Invisible. I was selling energy. I was selling an outcome. I was selling, "Man, you turn me loose with your people. You give me 1 year with your people. I guarantee you something good's going to happen." That's what I was selling. The impression of increase. Go back and study Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, chapter 14, The Impression of Increase. Become a person of advancement. I wrote a book on it called Person of Interest that I need to update because I wrote it 10 years ago, man. And so many things have changed. My point is, what you're selling, some of you guys don't have all this street cred yet. So you're like, well, I don't have anything to sell. Sell a future, sell an outcome. Here's a better one. Sell a solution. Like, you got a problem, I got the solution. And if we can't solve it, it will not be because of lack of effort. Okay. That's what you need to be selling. Thank you, Ken Jocelyn. Okay. When I first started, I'm telling you, I signed 3 6-figure contracts and I didn't even have a pricing structure. I didn't have an explanation of service. I didn't have a selling system. I didn't have a follow-up. I didn't have extraction referral. I hadn't even written the book Person of Interest. Like, I didn't have nothing but me. Okay. And energy. Okay. So great questions. I appreciate that. Anybody got any other questions before I move on? Okay. Sell a future. That's right, man. And who you got to sell first, Jeff, is your own self. There's a guy coming to my coaching summit who has been coaching people for 10 years, used to work for my father in a factory. And he's coming to my coaching summit. He's been coaching people for 10 years. He said, I had a book in me, coach, for 10 years that I've never finished. And I come to one session with you and I'm finishing it. First person you got to sell is to your own self, man. You got to sell yourself. I am a person of interest. I have gone through things. I do have something valuable. Okay. That's what you got to get to. You got to start telling yourself, right? You got to start telling yourself that you do have things that are valuable and people will pay for those things. Don't undersell yourself, man. Don't undersell yourself. You got something. Okay. All right. No other questions. I'm going to move to number 2. We're talking how to sign 6-figure deals. Okay. How to sign 6-figure deals. Every major contract I have ever signed started in one place. It did not start by my website. It did not start with the ClickFunnels. It did not start with buying marketing leads. It did not start, if you had to guess where every major contract started, where would you guess? Where did it originate? Anybody want to take a guess? I'd love to see what you think. Okay. Good. Y'all are having fun with it. Come on with it. Come on. These are good. All right, Justin, thank you. Ryan Shive, thank you. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. All of those are right in their own way, but the right answer is from speaking. Every major contract I have ever signed, with the exception of one, started with a key economic buyer seeing me speak. Okay, now, here's Phil, that's exactly right. Phil Sorrento, every major contract I've ever signed, with the exception of one, was somebody in the audience that saw me speak and said to themselves, we need that dude. Now, the prison system contract I signed happened because I did a workshop on my book, This Ain't No Practice Life, and 2 people showed up. Okay. Thank you, good Lord, for this one, because that's the only way that happened. 2 people showed up. This was 10 years ago. My assistant came to me, had one assistant, no team members, no sales team, no marketing team, no nothing. And I put out through Eventbrite or some kind of thing, I'm going to do a workshop on This Ain't No Practice Life. 2 ladies show up. My assistant comes to me and says, we should cancel it. You had a long day. You had a long day. Just take it to the house, coach. And I said, no. I'm not canceling it. I'm not canceling. I said, I'm going to give those 2 people everything I've got. And I went in there and I gave them and at 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe halfway through, the CEO, one of those women was a CEO of a $40 million company. And she came to me on the break and she said, you're exactly what we've been looking for. Okay. We would like you to come in and coach our people. And I sat down, and once they showed me, that was the one in the prison system. It turned out to be a $450,000 agreement. Now, speaking starts with the message. Every major deal, the only $200,000 deal I've ever signed that turned out to be, I want to say about a $400,000 deal, is they bought my book in a Houston Barnes and Nobles called Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. The president of the company took it back to the founder and said, we got to have this guy coaching our team. And that one, then they said, come to Houston. I did a day speaking to their people. Then we signed a $200,000 contract. Now, so number two, what you got to understand, the secret is it all starts with speaking. Okay. Every big contract starts with speaking, unless you've got a book, a best-selling book that people know, that kind of thing. So I want to show you how to position by concept, because one of my first business coaches taught me this concept is before you become famous, okay, before you become famous, and James Voss, I'll get to this question in just a second, big guy. Before you become famous, you need to create incredible concepts. Okay, now let me give you some incredible concepts. Atomic Habits is an incredible concept. These are habits going to blow your life up. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was an incredible concept. Good to Great, incredible concept. Incredible concept. The 5 Dysfunctions of Teams, incredible concepts. A new book out, The $1 Trillion Coach, incredible concept. 10X, boom, incredible concept. Everybody needs incredible concepts. Before you become famous, you need to create incredible concepts. Okay? And this is very important because people send me their concepts and I'm like, what problem does it solve? Like, the concept is not strong enough. Monster producer is how you become legendary, because there's a definition in the dictionary. It says a monster is a legendary creature. Person of interest is one of my strongest concepts. Inside the mind of a monster. Boom. My wife's book. If my wife got serious about selling books and speaking, her book, Living with a Monster, which is how you live with an obsessed person like me, she could sell millions of copies of that book. She's just not interested in it. Here's my point, though. It's an incredible concept. How many of you are high D, type A, firstborn, Leos? Your husband or wife, you drive them crazy. They love you. But man, you're just a lunatic, right? That's what my wife wrote that book about. That is an incredible concept. I go home and I tell her, like, sweetheart, please do something with this concept, because it's so incredible. Now, here's what I'm saying. Some of you can't get on stages because you don't have good concepts. Once you have a concept, there needs to be a book. Take my new book, Flip the Switch, How to Activate the Prey Drive in You for Massive Success. I believe I will get a 6-figure advance on that book. Okay, that's what my agents in New York City are telling me. So here's the deal. I'm going to take that book. I just turned it into a new podcast where I interview successful people. Yesterday, I was interviewing Brandon Dawson. I interviewed successful people, and I asked them, when did you flip the switch? What were the activators? Okay, then I'm turning it into a boot camp, a 3-day boot camp. Then we're turning it into a reality TV show, or a pilot for a reality TV show, where I go in and flip the switch in people. Then we turn it into a coaching program. Then we turn it into a retreat in the Bahamas or whatever. You take a simple concept, man, and you go deep with the concept. Okay. Now you say, what's that got to do with landing 6-figure deals? Well, if you don't have good concepts, the person in the audience, number one, you don't get on stage. Okay. When I spoke at 10X, I asked Cardone, what do you want me to speak about? And he said, I want you to tell people how you went from a high school basketball coach to where you are today. He said, that is a fascinating story. How does a high school basketball coach do this, man? How do you do it? So I codified it. What I codified became the book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, because my program is Monster Producer. That was my talk at 10X. And then I added the 10X thing to it. So if you came to 10X and saw me, it said Inside the Mind of a 10X Monster. And it had that book cover on it. Now, that's a killer concept, okay? So I would like to put some of your concepts in here, guys. How many of you think you got a killer concept? I'd like to hear it. Okay. And I certainly don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but if it ain't strong enough, would you rather me tell you? Would you rather you just not get noticed because you got a weak concept, right? These are kinds of things I do in our coaching program when I'm coaching people. So if you got a great concept, everybody's probably scared to put it in there. All right. Now stay with me. Stay with me. Okay. I got about 10 or 15 more minutes, but I got to give you another secret. So don't bump off here yet, because you ain't going to get the best one. Okay. Jeff Pierce, what if you've systemized aspects of other concepts to build your own? That's fine. There's not a problem in that. Okay. But at the end of the day, at some point you got to have your own concept. Like I can't turn around and rewrite the 7 habits. Okay. I need my own 7 habits, which was the book, This Ain't No Practice Life. I probably gave that talk 200 times, guys. Okay. This Ain't No Practice Life wasn't 7 habits. It was 7 decisions. I modeled after Covey. Okay. Ryan Taylor, what's up, big guy? Financial advisory practice with above average results and a Disney Ritz-Carlton experience. All right. Take that concept and package it up, Ryan, into a way you could give it to me. Okay. Let's say I had 1,000 advisors, Ryan, and I want you to come speak at my conference. What's the title of the talk? What's the book? What's the podcast? Okay. Let's say I've got 12 advisors and I'm willing to pay you $100,000, Ryan, for some methodology that you got to help my 12 make $10 million more dollars. Okay. John Burt, high school football referee in Texas for 28 years. Not sure what problem I solve. Could you write a book for referees? Okay. Dealing with lunatics. Tony Barnes. Kevin Jones. I'll tell you the 2 I'm thinking of. Probate real estate. Yeah. The second is from 22 years experience in water damage, writing about what to do. Okay. I'm good with that. Here's the deal. We got to sexy it up, Kevin Jones. We got to sexy him up. Change your life in 30 seconds. I like that one, Chris. Mel Robbins made a fortune with the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is when you don't want to do something, here's all she said in the book. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. Literally, you get up in the morning, you don't want to get up. Here's what she teaches you. Go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, I'm getting up. That's the 5-second rule. She's made millions of dollars with that concept. I'm telling you guys, it's simple, but how many people have a fear? And she just taught them a little formula, like count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. Great points here. All right. Let's see. All right. We got any more questions on this side? Wake up winning. I like that. Wake up winning. That's good. Listen, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Miracle Morning, baby. Killer concept. All right. I'm going to give you the 3rd secret. Okay. Understand yourself, own your life. It's not bad. We need to sexy it up a little bit. Justin, changing your mindset. We need something sexier. We need something like change your mindset. We need something that a person will go, I got to have that person. Let me put it to you this way. TED Talk. You got 18 minutes. 6 million people are going to watch it. Okay. When we did Flip the Switch, the concept is pray drive. But we were worried that people wouldn't understand pray drive. So we tested different things. What is the book going to do? Okay. Flip the switch. Find another gear. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Let me give you number 3. Now, let me tell you some problems with a concept that I created because I've had some huge mistakes in my life. I wrote the book Zebras and Cheetahs with a co-author. Oddly enough, a lot of people remember when I wrote that book. It was in all the bookstores, all the airports. I would go to the airport and I would watch to see if people would pick it up. It was right beside John Maxwell and Tony Robbins. And they would just look at it. And I would go over to them and I'd say, man, what do you think that book's about? Right? I bet that's a good book. And they would say, I don't really know what it's about. Like, is it a kid's book? Some of them said, like, is it in the wrong section? What I should have called the book was Look Different and Run Faster. A zebra looks different than every other animal in the animal kingdom. A cheetah runs faster than every other animal. See what was my problem? Title was confusing. I thought people would get it. A zebra looks different. You should look different in the business world. You should separate yourself. And when I spoke on it, I wore a zebra print jacket. What I should have done with bozos at the publishing company, I should have put the zebra print jacket on and spoke with the zebra. I've been on the cover with the zebra print jacket, and it was called Zebras and Cheetahs. Okay. Now, 3rd secret. Stick around to the end because I'm going to give you my breakdowns, my biggest mistakes, and then I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to do something with tonight's webinar. 3rd concept, 3rd secret is the value ladder. I don't think if you study this concept, the psychology of this, not everybody's going to sign a 6-figure contract with you the very first time. There was a group, an insurance company that saw me speak twice. They bought a few books. They went home and watched all my videos. Then they called in one day and purchased $120,000 worth of coaching. They then expanded that 120 to $300,000 of coaching. If you don't have a value ladder, you got to understand the concept of a value ladder. Number one, how do you get people in the door? Free or low ticketed? Free webinars, right? Free, something low ticketed. Books free. All you do is pay the shipping. Then you can come to the 1-day workshop. Then you can come to a 2-day boot camp. Then you can sign up for the coaching program. Then I could become your coach and coach your people. Then you become certified in a monster producer coaching. Then you can make your own money with the coaching. See what I'm saying? You need a value ladder. That's one thing. Sometimes a speaking engagement starts the cycle. Then you follow up and get their managers to a boot camp. Then the manager goes back and tells the CEO, we need you to coach the team. Then it goes from a webinar or a speaking engagement to a follow-up to this, to that. You need to understand the value ladder. Okay. And so if you don't have this value ladder, if you don't have the message, you're not going to get on stage. Where do all big speaking engagements come from? They come from speaking. Speaking leads to what? How do you follow up with people? I know speakers today. There's a speaker I'm thinking of right now. Speaks, does a great job. He's got no follow-up whatsoever. Never goes back to the company he spoke to. Never goes back and shows them how he can help them make more money. It's it, man. He just speaks. And then he goes to the next speaking engagement. He's losing money. Now, let me give you a twist on it that I just thought about yesterday. Go speak, have something for them to come to, get them excited, follow up, present options for you to coach their people, sign a coaching agreement, train their people, certify their people, and get residual revenue for the next 5 to 10 years, because every year they have to come back and be certified by you. So you take a $200,000 contract, turn it into a $2 million contract, because every year they got to pay to be certified over and over and over again by you or your people. That's how you do it, okay? So the third key component of this, guys, is you got to have a value ladder. And I'll take some questions on that in just a second. Now, I told you, stay to the end, because I'm going to present something tonight many of you that follow me haven't seen yet. I'm going to give you an offer tonight that you haven't seen, okay? So I want you to stick to the end. Now, let me give you some breakdowns and some mistakes I made. First big contract I signed, I couldn't fulfill the whole contract by myself, so I subcontracted another person. He said, I'm going to go do the coaching for you. I'm going to stay a week, right? I'm thinking, this is awesome, man. He said, all I want is $5,000. So I said, all right, I'm going to keep 7,000. I'm going to give you 5, okay, of the 12. Here's the problem. He didn't go do the coaching. So he's coming back telling me they love us. They love you. They love what we're doing. We're going to re-sign another contract with them. I'm thinking, this is incredible. 3 months into the contract, I sit down with the CEO who I was coaching, and she said, this ain't going very good. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm sending my guy there. He's spending a week with your people. She said, yeah, but he's not teaching them anything. He's just messing around. He's just goofing off every day. He's just hanging out with them, right? This is in nursing homes. So the $144,000 contract I get, 3 months into it, they say, we're going to void this contract because you're not delivering on it. Now, what's the lesson? That's a huge mistake. I trusted somebody else to go do the work that I haven't trained properly. I didn't follow up with him. I didn't hold him accountable. I didn't make sure it worked, and I lost that contract. Big mistake. Okay. Here's another mistake I made: getting people excited and getting people excited and not thinking through the whole structure of the contract. Who's going to hold these people accountable? How often are we going to talk to them? Who's the customer service rep that's going to service the agreement? Who's going to follow up and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do? Who's going to check on them to make sure they're getting results? See, some of you are great salespeople. You can go out there and sell people, but you don't have the infrastructure to deliver on what you've sold. Listen, I buy programs from some of the biggest people in the world. We bought a program from one of the #1 guys in the world last few weeks ago. We didn't get how to log in. We didn't get how to get the information. We didn't get they were great at selling it, and they struggled to deliver it, man, which makes for a bad customer experience. Then they start saying, man, this is terrible, right? Like good gracious, man, I paid all this money and this is what I get. So these are mistakes that I made. Okay. Assigning other people to the contract, getting them excited, but not getting results. The #1 reason they're going to pay you 6 figures is for results, guys. Results. You got to move the needle. Okay. 3, start strong, but not enough structure. We now have very clear structures in place for big contracts, customer service. You got to have people servicing the client, right? And then accountability. If people pays you 6 figures, they expect you to follow through. They expect you to keep people in a posture. They expect to say, look, I hired Coach Burt. We were making $2 million a year. And with Coach Burt, we made $3 million a year. We saw an uptick in production. So you need to know, here's where we're at. Here's where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. Now, I know probably what you're thinking. You may be thinking, man, this is so far ahead. I can't do this. Okay. Remember my cycle, because you can do it, man. I promise you, you can do it. Have a message, speak. Okay. Sit and listen to their problems, create a solution to their problems. You can do this. Okay. Now here's the deal. I wouldn't try this alone, man. Okay. Let me help you do this. This is what a coach does. We got a team of people. We've done this for years. Okay. Let me help you figure this out. Some of you are out there, you have so much talent. Like I know, because I'm coaching you, but you're so undercapitalized. Like it freaking drives me crazy. I'm sitting there looking at you like thinking, oh my God, he or she should be making $1 million a year, but they're not. So let me help you, man. Let me help you break this down. Let me show you how to do this. Like tonight's good, but it's cotton candy. It's cotton candy. Let me help you speak, coach, train, lead. Some of you have been looking at my coaching summit, but you haven't pulled the trigger. Maybe the 5,000 is not in your budget right now. Maybe you just can't get your mind there, right? For whatever reason, you haven't taken action on coming and spending 2.5 days with me at the coaching summit and let me teach you this in the room. Let me mentor you. So I'm going to show you something tonight that we haven't done for anybody else. Matter of fact, my team just sent it to me tonight. This is something I'm going to be doing that if you're interested, I want you to take advantage of. Okay. Number one, I got to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you something that we're doing that if you're interested, I'd love for you to do that. Right. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you something, guys. If you're interested, this is something that I'm doing that you may be interested in if you're interested in tonight, right? It's $1 million mentoring program. It's 4 weeks of mentoring with me on how to grow your speaking and coaching business. I'm going to break down the speaking. I'm going to break down the coaching. I'm going to break down the leading. Okay. What I'm going to do is in the month of June and July, I'm going to give you assignments. I'm going to go ahead and get you started. I'm going to do some special things for you. And then it's going to carry over to August. And you're really going to get about 7 weeks of mentoring, not 4 weeks. Okay. But it's a mentoring program. It's $997. It's an incredible price. If you're not ready to bite off the coaching summit at $5,000, this is what you need to do. Okay. 4 weeks with me, actually 7, where I start giving you important access to things, assignments, video breakdowns, looking at your concepts, right? Customer service, support, more. Okay. So if you're interested in that package, I would take that, man. 7 weeks with me, 4 weeks of hard mentoring with me in a small group. Okay. Eric White's on here tonight. If you're interested in that program, you need to take action on it. You need to quit dabbling. Okay. And what I mean by dabbling is you got a concept and it's time to get serious about that concept. Like you can go at it alone, right? Or you can let me help you. You can let me help you do this. Okay. So the concept is tonight was a little piece of the equation. Okay. It's just a little piece. Like I'm showing you 3 secrets. Imagine 4 weeks of me with assignments, me breaking it down for you. And what I'm going to be doing is kind of a little miniature $1 million coaching summit, right, E? That's right. I mean, I'm going to be, man, I wish I would have had this when I learned this the hard way, guys. Okay. I learned this the hard way. I learned by knockdowns and breakdowns and breakthroughs. Man, I could have, when I wrote the book Single Digit Millionaire at 43, I should have been writing the book Double Digit Millionaire. Okay. If I would have had this, shoot. Okay. This one is not for 18 to 35-year-olds, Kevin. This is a whole different deal. This is not the mentor program. This is not flip the switch. This is a whole different mentor program. I'm only coaching in this mentor program on how to speak, coach, train, lead. That's a whole different deal you're talking about. That's 3 days with me at the lodge. This is a 4-week program on this concept. We haven't even publicized this, what I'm showing you guys tonight. Like, we haven't even put it out to the market. My graphics team literally sent it to me right before this workshop. So it's 4 weeks with me mentoring, and then I'm going to give you assignments prior to the mentoring that you're going to work on, looking at your concept. So I'm going to say it's more like 7 weeks. So if you're interested in that, raise your hand, say I'm in, say I'm interested. Eric White's here with me tonight. We'll get you enrolled. I'm only extending this offer probably till no later than Friday this week. Susie Vargas, how many days a week? Basically, it's going to be 1 session a week for 4 weeks, but prior to the starting date, I'm going to be giving you assignments. John Burt's already signed in.
That's right.
Okay. Phil Sorrento, talk to Eric. Kevin Jones raised his hand, Get him in there. Okay. 2 participants raise their hand. Raise them hands, guys, if you want to get in. This is going to be incredible. 3 participants raise their hand. I just can't figure out which participants. Yeah, text Eric White right now, guys, if you want to get in. Okay, I can't, for some reason, it's not showing me who's raising their hand and who ain't raising their hand. Okay, let me see that right there. Let's see. I can go through there and figure it out. Now, when you think about it, let's see. Chris Gooden is in. Thank you, Chris. Susie Vargas, Kevin Jones. You getting these, E?
Got it.
Folks, I'm telling you, man, this will be the best $9.97 you ever spent, because I'm going to really break this down for you. You're leaving so much money on the table. It's really ridiculous. So I don't want you to leave that money on the table, okay? I don't want you to leave that money on the table, because why would you? Okay, why would you? I wouldn't go with this alone. You have a message. Here's what I tell you: quit dabbling with the message. Okay, if you're afraid to invest $997 in yourself, you ain't serious about your message, man. This is the truth, right? I would encourage you tonight: quit dabbling. This guy that was on there with me last week, who signed up for the full coaching program, July 9th through the 11th. He said, man, I've had a book for 10 years I hadn't finished. You need structure. You need confidence. You need focus. You need belief. This is it, right? Like, don't waste years of your life thinking about, oh, I would like to speak. I'd like to sign these 6-figure deals, okay? I'll show you how to speak, how to negotiate, how to open doors. I'll show you the whole value ladder. I got 4 people that I've written down as been credited. Andy Garrison came to this, okay? Kevin Jones said he's already sent his credit card information to you.
Okay.
I like that. That dude's the real deal. Here's the deal. Andy Garrison started my publishing division after going through my coaching summit. You know how much money he's going to make by writing books for people? He's a financial advisor. Came to my coaching summit, and now he's handling my publishing. Cody Askin said he's going to make $600,000 more as a result of going to my coaching summit. Brad Blazer took his Beast coaching concept, created virtual summits. Jonathan Hawkins got clear on his message, landed a partnership with Lightspeed as a chief marketing officer. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the game, man. The rules of engagement. I'm going to teach you the game, okay? The rules of engagement. And so if you're interested in that, it's saying 2 more people's raise their hand. Let me see who I got here. Come on. All right. Brandon Stevens raised his hand.
Got it.
Come on, Brandon Stevens. It's time, man. It's time to commit. It's time to play with the big boys and the big girls. Okay, listen, if $9.97 helps you make a couple $100,000, would it be a good investment? Okay, Brandon said, I don't have the cash, but I'm working on it. Hey, it's all right, man. You got a little bit of time to work on it right here. We're going to get you started. Let's just get you in the ball game. Let's just get you in the ball game, man. Okay. Now I want to come back and answer some questions because there's 4 examples. That's just 4 examples, guys, of people making hundreds of thousands of dollars because of what I'm teaching. So simply text Eric White. I'll have him post his number again. He posts your number again. If you're interested, we can put it into a deal with you, get you started. 4-week mentoring with me. Okay. It's really going to be 7 weeks because I'm going to give you assignments prior to and get you up and going. This is a small amount of money compared to what you're going to make. And I'll end with this story, then take questions. 10 years ago, I was at a publishing summit with John Maxwell. And a guy named Paul Martinelli got up on stage. And he said, I'm about to take John Maxwell's coaching program and take it to the world. He didn't have a certification program. His name is Paul Martinelli. I'm sitting in the back and I go, 10 years ago, I go, I need to know that dude. That was the first thought in my mind. Guys, I went 10 years, and I never called him. I never took action. This past year, I called into Paul Martinelli's office. I finally get up the guts and courage to call him. And I call him and I say, I'd like a coaching session with Mr. Martinelli. How much is it? They said it's $2,200 for 90 minutes. Okay. I'm asking you to invest $997 for 4 to 7 weeks with me. It was $2,200 for 90 minutes. I said, I'm in. Book it. How fast can we do it? Within 10 minutes, we recorded the call, the mentoring, which all of mine will be recorded. You'll be able to go back and watch the replays. For those of you that are not in Monster Producer, during this period, I'll even give you my coaching program, Monster Producer. If you take action by Friday, I'll give you a Monster Producer for 90 days, and I'll give you this mentoring if you're not in the program already. Now, that's my coaching program. That's every Monday you'll be on there with me from now until then. Okay, plus my live sessions, plus my replays, plus all that. Within 10 minutes, I asked Mr. Martinelli, how did you do it with Maxwell? 30,000 certified coaches. They've done $150 million. And he showed me step by step. He said, Coach, you got your pen and paper? I said, yes, sir. For the first 10 minutes of that call, he told me the secrets on how they generated $150 million of coaching. I felt so dumb that I waited 10 years to call him, guys. What a huge mistake that was in my life. I could have figured this out 10 years earlier. How much would have that been worth to me? So if you're sitting on the fence tonight, don't be that person who says, man, I can't let go of $997. I'm going to wait till something happens. Don't be that person like me. I was a ding dong, man. I was a dumb bat. I was a thinking too small. And I really, 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 at the end of the day, man, I regret it significantly. So what I'm offering tonight, if you want to get in, text Eric White, is I'm going to give you 90 days of my coaching program, which is at right now $299 a month. I'm going to give you 4-week mentoring with me, really going to be 7 weeks because I'm going to give you things to do prior to the start date. I'm going to give you access to get in, man. Get in the game and get started. This is a great, great chance for you if you're not ready to get to the big level, spend 2.5 days with me at my lodge. Some of the people on here have already booked the $1 Million Coaching Summit. And you're going to get to spend 2.5 days with me in person at my lodge, coaching you through all of these things. So I encourage you, man, step up to the big leagues. Let's get in, okay? Let's get in. Let's do something, all right? Let's take a few questions. All right, let's take a few questions for a few minutes. And thank you for giving me your time tonight, guys. You've invested in yourself tonight. That's incredible, okay? Hey, Coach, you forgot to answer my first question, but if you can't right now, maybe you can call or, okay? Let me go back to that. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, big guy. I apologize because I told you I was going to answer it. I didn't answer it, and I'm sorry. Let me go back and find it because it was way back here in the beginning, man. If you got questions, post those questions. I'll tell you what would be helpful if you want to come back to that question. If you want to come back to that and help me and you know, come back and share that with me, man, that would be incredible. That would be really, really incredible if you come back and gave me that question again. All right, I got time for just a few questions. I don't know why it does that. All right, here it is. My biggest question is, how can I start out knowing that I continue large contracts so when I get over 10 years of work paperwork for it? How can I start out with knowing that I can continue with large contracts so when I give up 10 years of work? Here's the deal. You want to leverage that work. James, you want to leverage that work, man. And what I mean by that is you're not wasting anything here. You're going to get these contracts and you're going to leverage everything you've had in your past to build your future. Okay. And I know it's a little scary. I don't think you start off by signing big contracts, right? You don't start off by signing big contracts. You start off with a message, and the message, see, if I wouldn't have spoken, those builders would have never hired me. If that woman who hired me for the $144,000 contract would have never seen me, she would have never hired me. I had a message. I got on stage. I shared the message. That signed the contract for me, okay? All right, Brandon Stevens, I've all been so caught up trying to borrow it. That's good. Let's see. You had a question in here, Brandon, I believe. Wake up winning. Value layer. Where would you start when you start at zero? Low and free with massive value, or higher priced? And then build the lower tiers. Yeah, I think you can start with webinars, Brandon. I don't care if there's one person on there or 100 people on there. You just need to get started with something. A pamphlet, an ebook, a download, an audio, anything you can give away to people is where you need to start, man. Okay, anywhere you can go to is where you need to start. Just something people can get. Stephen McGrory, where are the mentoring sessions? They'll be virtual, Stephen. These sessions will be virtual. So I'll be doing them just like this. It'll be a small group of people. We haven't even marketed this to the public. Like, this is strictly on speaking, coaching, training, leading, mentoring on. Each week we'll have subjects. Each week we'll have homework assignments. Each week we'll have replays. Like, I'm in a mentoring program right now. I don't watch it live because of when it is, but I go back and watch it in a relaxed state. Okay, and then I work through the assignments with my team. So, Stephen, it'll be a virtual program for you to go through, just like this. It'll all be done through Zoom. Okay, great question. We'd love to have you, man. I think it's well worth it. Trust me. It's a course. I will break down speaking, coaching, training, leading, publishing, and at every time I'm going to take questions at each one. And I promise you, I'll over deliver. I'll stay longer than I promised. I'll give you more. Tonight was an hour. We're already at an hour and 16 minutes. Okay, I want to over deliver for people. So if that interests you, text Eric White and get in. If you got questions or you want to talk about it more with me, I'd be happy to do a strategy session with you, talk about it. But biggest thing I'm going to tell you is, man, get in and let's get going. Okay. Any other questions tonight? All right. Jeff Pierce. Great question. I'd be all in if I just designed accelerated Pete Vargas. Come on, Pete. Okay. I love Pete Vargas, guys. By the way, I invested $12,000 with Pete Vargas. So I'm for Pete Vargas 100%. Great guy. Great guy. I think there'll be some differences in what we're talking about. Okay. But you can't go wrong with Pete. Okay. Don't limit yourself now. Pete would tell you to get in here and be coached by Coach Burt. Okay. But Pete is very, very, very good. And I got a lot of belief in him, man. Matter of fact, I gave him $12,000. How can I get in contact as I live in Australia? Email me right now, Elver, coach@coachburt.com. And I use WhatsApp. I've got clients in London, Singapore, all over the world. So Elver, if you will message me at coach@coachburt.com or even Instagram, either way, at Micheal Burt, Micheal, I'd be happy to help you there. All right, let's see who raised their hand here. How does it do that, man? It drives me crazy here. I don't understand why it won't let you see. Okay, I gave him more than that. See, if you give him more than that, man, come on. Justin, I know it motivated people. Obviously, you can't motivate everyone. When do you know you wanted to coach people as a career? I really knew when I first started speaking to adults, Justin. I really enjoyed the process. I didn't start off coaching adults. I started off coaching kids, right? And then when I started speaking to adults, they would say things like, I really enjoyed it. Will you come back and coach our people? And I said, well, sure. And then they say, how much to charge me? And I really didn't even know, to be honest with you. I charged $350 the first time I did 3 hours, and I thought I'd made $1 million. So that, when I decided to coach as a career, it really was a speaking business that turned into a coaching business. Okay. A speaking business that turned into a coaching business. Now all I do is coach. I do speak a lot. The speaking is marketing, in my opinion. I use the speaking to market. I do get paid to speak. We do charge as much as $25,000. I'll show you how I get $25,000 in the mentoring program, because there's an art to that. It ain't easy, right? Getting $25,000, okay, for an hour, but I can show you how to do it. Kevin Jones, let's do it. Let's roll. You got it in you, man. I've been watching your stuff. All we got to do is help you package it and sell it to the market, okay? So I'm proud of you for taking action tonight. Okay. Anybody else? Last chance, guys, to get in. Okay. I got a 2-week-old son named Elias Michael at home, and who's wanting to see daddy, and a 7-year-old and a wife. I'm about to do a 2-day boot camp where I'm going to go about 14 to 20 hours a day tomorrow and the next day. And so does anybody have any other questions? If you do have a question and you want to talk about this or think about it, email me at coach@coachburt.com, man. I'd be happy to talk to you. I'd be happy to help you any way I can. Even if this program's not for you, maybe another program is. But remember what I'm giving you tonight. I'm giving you the mentoring plus 90 days of my coaching program. Okay, so you're getting a whole lot for $9.97. So I'm going to extend this offer through Friday. What's the day? Wednesday? To get the 90 days of the coaching program, every Monday calls with me, long form, short form, private, Facebook. To get all of that, you got to take action by Friday. Some people will try to hard sell you. I ain't going to try to hard sell you. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. Okay, so if you want in, let's get you in there. I promise you, it'll be the best $9.97 you ever spent. I really do believe that. Okay. All right. If you got questions, email me at coach@coachburt.com. Thank you, guys. I had so much fun tonight. I feel like Garth Brooks. If you ever go see Garth Brooks perform, you can tell he loves his fans, man. He loves playing for those people. I love coaching people who want to be coached. Nothing gets me more excited. So I'm honored. I feel privileged to be able to do what I do every day, which is coach people all over the world. It does my heart good to flip the switch in people. And my mission in life is to help millions of people, man. So tonight, I think almost 100 people signed up for this. 31 or 32 or 33 showed up. And I hope you feel like you got everything that you came for tonight. And if not, if there's any way I can help you, God bless you. coach@coachburt.com. Text Eric White. And Justin, thank you, guys. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you. And you guys are awesome. Okay. If you sign up for the coaching summit like Tony Barnes, man, you're going to be with me for 2.5 real days right up in my face. So you're going to get your money's worth, brother. You guys have a great night. God bless you. Everybody needs a coach in life. Thank you for joining me. John Burt, thank you for taking action.